Hi there and welcome to the Daily Arsenal News Show. Let's dive into today's top stories. Martin Keown has noticed a major flaw in outstanding Arsenal player. Arsenal beat Crystal Palace in the London Derby on Saturday. Mikel Arteta's side won the Premier League match against Crystal Palace at the Emirates Stadium in North London 5-0. Gabriel Jesus started the match after recovering from injury. The Brazil international was deployed as the central striker. The former Manchester City striker worked hard for the team, linked up well with his fellow attacking players, and provided an assist. Arsenal legend Martin Keown was following the match for TNT Sports. While the pundit has praised Jesus as a footballer, he does not think that the striker actually wants to get into positions where he could score goals. Keon told TNT Sports about Jesus the following: I like him as a player. I think he is an excellent player. I just feel there is an issue. Is he really the predator? Does he want to get into that central position? It almost seemed he went back to type there. I'll wander into a wide position and then I'll feed somebody else. He doesn't really make the runs into the box. You've got to want to really get there. There is got to be the desire to get to the ball. He can see the space, but for whatever reason, he doesn't want to get into that area. Then they don't feed him. They don't give him the ball, but that's an area he just needs to work on. It's interesting. Pep had him for a few years and decided to use him in that right position that looked like the role he took up for Manchester City. But if he's gonna be Arsenal's center forward, then there is going to have to be more work done keeping him in that central position. But he works so hard for the team. He is an outstanding talent, but I don't see him as a predator right now. Jesus has made 201 appearances in the Premier League so far in his career. The striker has scored 72 goals and given 37 assists in those games so far this season. The 26-year-old has scored 3 goals and given 2 assists in 16 Premier League matches. Ian Wright very surprised by Mikel Arteta's decision on £6 million Arsenal player. The Gunners were expected to win the London Derby, and Mikel Arteta's side did not have any trouble at all in getting the job done. Gabriel Martinelli scored twice for the North London club. The £6 million Brazil international winger found the back of the net first in the 4th minute of injury time, and then just a minute later. Martinelli did not start the match for Arsenal. Arteta decided to start Leandro Trossard ahead of the Brazilian on the left side of the front three. The Belgian winger scored for Arsenal in the 59th minute and impressed Rio Ferdinand. Martinelli replaced him 10 minutes later. Arsenal legend Ian Wright is shocked that Martinelli did not start the London Derby for Arsenal. Metro quotes Wright as saying about Martinelli the following: when you get someone like Gabriel Martinelli in that much space, the line was so high, I was very surprised he didn't start. I'm quite pleased he came on and made the impact he did. His first goal is a very good finish, very accurate, brilliant, superb. With the second goal, Palace are all over the place. The midfield is nowhere near it. Look at how much space he has got. Can he finish? Yeah, he can. You've got to take advantage when teams are playing poorly like Palace, where you can really punish these teams. In my view, Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta was right to start Leandro Trossard against Crystal Palace. Gabriel Martinelli is a regular on the left side of Arsenal's attack, and Trossard also needs playing time. After all, Arteta needs to make sure that all of his players get to play matches so that they can be sharp and always ready to come into the team at short notice. Crystal Palace are not really a great side. Arsenal were always going to win the London Derby, so playing Trossard ahead of Martinelli was not a risk and a sensible decision. TNT Pundit says 24-year-old Arsenal player was poor versus Crystal Palace. Speaking during the game, TNT Sport Pundit Lucy Ward pointed out that Declan Rice was also one of the Gunners' players who just didn't look at it yesterday. Ward said, "Talk about players not being in rhythm, and I think he is one of them, not in rhythm, not quite being at his best, Declan Rice. Arteta just took him off there to give him a bit of a rest." Rice was replaced by Jorginho in the second half and appeared to hint at a small injury issue, which, in fairness, may have dictated his performance level. The comments here might suggest Rice was really poor, but he wasn't. He is just set such a high bar with his performances this season that any dip is noticeable. For Arsenal, keeping Declan Rice fully fit and involved in games is going to be crucial for them in terms of winning things. He's been so good since he signed that when he has a slight off day, the entire team seems to have a bit of an off day as well. Rice will hopefully be back and fine for the next game after holding his hamstring going off. If he is injured, then Arsenal have a big problem, and one that can't even be fixed in this month's window. Pundit says Arsenal player must improve despite 5-0 win over Crystal Palace. Bukayo Saka did not score or provide an assist in the last game. It was his corner which led to Arsenal's second goal. However, the goal was given to Palace goalkeeper Dean Henderson. Saka was actually the one attacker Arteta left out there for 90 minutes, so his form may be a concern for Arteta. And speaking to ESPN, Craig Burley insisted that he does need to step up as he has the quality to be a difference maker in the title race. He said, "I think he can be, but he certainly hasn't been this season, not particularly as it's gone on towards the second half. He lost a little bit of an edge to his game, a little bit of sharpness. There has been some complaints about the type of scrutiny he's been getting from defenders, and he does take a few knocks, but he is a big, strong boy. I think he will have to improve because I mentioned Trossard, he chips in, Martinelli will chip in, and we know out of Nketiah and Jesus, they are good players, particularly Jesus, but they are not penalty box strikers. They are not going to get you 25, 30 goals a season, and certainly not in the second half, likely to get you 10 or 15 goals, so you are going to have to get this from elsewhere." Certainly, Theo Walcott was surprised that Saka was not substituted off, and his form does strengthen the argument that he does need a rest. Saka has scored one goal in his last 8, and that goal was certainly not the best of his career, with the 22-year-old knowing little about the opener at Fulham last month. It would be a big call for Arteta to rest Saka, particularly in what felt like a must-win game. However, getting him to play the full 90 minutes seemed to be a strange call, and if he does not improve, Arteta will have to give serious thought to the idea of resting Saka at some stage. Fabrizio Romano shares what he heard about Arsenal and Karim Benzema rumors. Arsenal have been linked with a shock swoop for Al Ittihad's Karim Benzema in recent days. With the January transfer window in full swing, reports have been doing the rounds linking the Gunners with a new forward. According to Team Talk, Arsenal have joined the race for Benzema, as speculation over his future at Al Ittihad continues to do the rounds. The Gunners are apparently considering a swoop for the striker if they can get him on a loan deal. Fabrizio Romano has now shared what he has been hearing about Al Ittihad's stance on Benzema amid reported interest from Arsenal and others. Sadly, it's not great news at this moment in time for those who'd like to see the former Real Madrid star in red and white. Romano, writing on Count Offside, says Al Ittihad are planning to play hardball over Benzema's signature. Romano said, "From what I'm hearing from the club side, Al Ittihad have no intention to give any green light for Benzema to leave in January. Let's see what the situation is like in the next few days and see what happens with Benzema. At the moment, guys, I'm not aware of any advance deal or anything concrete with an English club, including with Arsenal, despite various rumours. Newcastle appreciate Premier League star who's also on Arsenal's radar, says a transfer expert. Newcastle are alongside Arsenal as one of a number of teams who admire and appreciate Everton midfielder Amado Onana, according to Fabrizio Romano. The transfer news expert has previously told Kaut Offside about the Gunners' interest in Onana, even if nothing looks particularly likely for this January, and it seems we can add Newcastle to his list of potential suitors, but again, probably for this summer rather than this month. Speaking exclusively to Kaut Offside for his latest daily briefing column, Romano provided an update on some potential Newcastle targets, explaining that Man City's Calvin Phillips possibly looks too expensive for them, while Onana is another name on their radar. Eddie Howe could do with bringing someone in this January, with Sandro Tonali's suspension and Joe Wellington's injury looking like serious concerns for them in midfield. However, it seems that deals for the likes of Phillips or Onana won't be easy to get done, with Romano saying, as previously reported, it's not a cheap loan for Phillips. This is why Juventus decided to leave the conversations as they felt it was too expensive, and this is also why English clubs like Newcastle are not so convinced about the deal. Phillips is appreciated, but there is a loan fee and salary coverage, so it's an expensive deal. Newcastle are also one of multiple clubs appreciating Everton's Amado Onana, but he is very expensive and not an easy target. Financial fair play limitations make it very difficult for Newcastle, so let's see what happens in the summer. Club-aware Arsenal want to sign their on loan playmaker. According to Bild journalist Christian Falk, Arsenal are interested in signing former Barcelona prospect Chavis Simons. Simons is on loan at Bundesliga club RB Leipzig from League One giants Paris Saint-Germain at the moment. The 20-year-old attacking midfielder came through the Barcelona youth system before moving to PSG in 2019. In 2022, PSV signed Simons, who went back to PSG in the summer of 2023 after the reigning French champions triggered a buy clause. Immediately after moving back to PSG, Simons left on loan for RB Leipzig, where he has done well. The Netherlands international, who can also play as a winger, has scored 5 goals and given 7 assists in 18 Bundesliga matches. Simons has also scored 2 goals and given 2 assists in 5 starts and 1 substitute appearance in the UEFA Champions League for Leipzig this season. German journalist Falk has reported that Bayern Munich are interested in Simons, and so are Arsenal. Leipzig themselves want to keep the youngster for another season. The German club are aware that Arsenal want their playmaker, who is rated highly by Ronald Koeman. Chavis Simons is one of the best young attacking midfielders in Europe and is rated very highly. I'm not surprised at all that Arsenal are keen on him. A January transfer is not going to happen, but Arsenal should not give up on signing Simons in the summer of 2024. It's not going to be easy though. Paris Saint-Germain themselves may not be willing to sell Simons and could ask for a lot of money in the transfer fees. Bayern Munich could outbid Arsenal for the former PSV star. Pundit says 27-year-old Premier League star would join Arsenal in a heartbeat this month if he could. Gabriel Agbonlahor believes that Ivan Toney would not hesitate to make the move if Arsenal made a big bid for the Brentford striker in the January transfer window. Ivan Toney made his long-awaited return to the Brentford side on Saturday. The England international was the best player on the pitch, as Thomas Frank's side secured a massive win in their push to stay in the Premier League. Of course, much of the talk surrounding Toney this month has centered on whether he may leave the Dutch Community Stadium. Toney has done little to quash speculation, admitting that he would like to play for a big club in the future, and with that, it's little surprise to see him being linked with Arsenal. Arsenal would surely love to sign another striker this month, and the Brentford star is on their radar. In fact, reports have even claimed previously that Brentford would sell Tony to Arsenal for £55 million if they paid the fee in one go. Speaking on TalkSport, Gabriel Agbonlahor admitted that he cannot see any way Tony ends up at the Emirates, but he believes that he would go in a heartbeat if the chance presented itself. He said, "Let's be honest here. If Tony got an offer now from Arsenal to come, he doesn't care about Brentford and staying there until the end of the season. Let's be honest. He said it so many times in interview. A big club will come and get me when it's right. Arsenal can't make that transfer work at the moment. Financial fair play is affecting so many clubs. That's why the deal won't happen. And the Brentford won't give him the option. Brentford won't let Tony go. They need him." In truth, it's hard to see Brentford accepting any bid for Tony this month. While he has made his feelings clear, it would be a shock if he was prepared to make a big push to get out of the club until the summer. And as Agbonlahor says, Arsenal do not appear to have the funds to leave the Bees with a decision to make. It remains to be seen what's gonna happen with this story. As we wrap up today's Arsenal news, remember to stay tuned for daily updates right here on the channel. Don't miss out on the latest updates, so make sure to hit that subscribe button and give us a like if you found this information valuable. Your support means the world to us. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.